welcome. We're back. How's everybody doing? Another day in the market. Highs, you're definitely in an uptrend, so it's literally good. Literally, I don't know why I say literally so much. You're literally fine on, that's so funny. I need to somebody clip that. Tea is very hot, but I want some tea. Doc was up 1% today. All right. Welcome. We are back. Another day in the market. I think we're in for a fun stream. I got a lot to talk about. I always love the streams. Like, sometimes there's streams when we just spend a lot of time doing ticker requests and there's just not much for me to cover. But a lot of developments from a technical standpoint today. So we got a lot to talk about. So what's up, everybody in the chat? We got JG, William, Jane, Barasan, Matt G, Linta Glenn, KTF, Sunny, Jeff, Silver Shrimp, even Tar Heel is in here today. How you doing, Tar Heel? Go check out Tar Heel Blue's channel. He's been doing pretty well lately. So yeah, here's gonna be the drill. All right, starting off with Bitcoin. Finally, after honestly weeks, there is somewhat of an edge on Bitcoin, which I'm gonna get to in a second here. After that, we're gonna spend a good amount of time talking about the market. There are developments. Pretty good day for the market. Futures are green right now. It was a green day across the board. So I'm gonna give my thoughts on the market. Probably gonna spend 10-15 minutes just talking about the market because that's very important. Obviously, you know, a lot of new traders just, you know, only look at one specific stock and they just ignore the overall market, and a lot of people get caught like that. After that, we'll talk about CLOV. Some good updates there. Technicals will be talked about, a good amount of them. Gonna be talking about Fisker, Plug, Ford, which is a new swing trade. Even talk about Lucid for a little bit. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get started with Bitcoin. Hit that like button and let's see what's up. So just so nobody is confused, this is not currently crypto alert just yet. I'm just trying to wait to see if there could be a little bit of a better entry maybe. But Bitcoin did something really good. You know, I talked about this on Monday night stream. There's kind of this zone between like 40 to 42K, which historically has been resistance and support. And Bitcoin was able to bounce off of it. So we talked about this on Monday night, and we got a very nice bounce off of it today. It was about a 7% bounce right off of that level that we talked about on Monday night. So very good stuff there. Apart from that, you have a bullish Gartley kind of on the daily, and it did bounce around the PCC. The D point did get a little bit deep. So you have that. We take a look at the RSI on the daily, you have hidden bullish divergence for Bitcoin. And if we look at the RSI level, the last time Bitcoin was at this RSI level on the daily was literally the local bottom from July before, you know, when it went from 30K to like 52K. 1 second, my voice is like, I don't know why when I just start talking nonstop, my voice needs to kind of like warm up. So yeah, I mean, I'm eyeing Bitcoin. I don't know, maybe I'm trying to just see if there could be a little bit of a pullback before going higher, so I'm not really completely ready to see if it's time for, you know, Bitcoin trade. It's been a while since the last one. Even on the 4 hour, if you ignore this little MACD island, you kind of have classic bullish divergence. You were oversold on the 4 hours, so I'm just trying to see, because kind of the contradiction right here for Bitcoin is it's retesting this previous area of support, which could have also been considered like the neckline for head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We talked about this like last week. So it's kind of retesting a previous like demand zone. I'm just trying to see if it kind of pulls back off of that. So, but hey, we have an edge on Bitcoin for the first time in weeks right now. We'll see how that kind of develops, let me put on some music so we can get the vibes up. All right, let's see. All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, Bitcoin, we'll see. I mean, it's looking pretty interesting finally. I mean, there just wasn't much to talk about for a couple weeks, so keeping an eye on Bitcoin. Let's talk about the market for a little bit, okay? What else? Yeah, 40K support was pretty much, yeah, this was kind of the first time it was tested. Let's see if it can hold. All right, let's talk about the market for a good amount of time. Let's start off with like just random stuff. The VIX went quite down. That's not the best way to put it, but it dropped 14% today, filled a gap from, I believe, Monday. So that's good. It still is above 20 and above the 200-day moving average, so not completely out of the clear just yet. The US 10-year, really not much of anything. This could kind of be considered like a mini ascending triangle though, something like that. This is kind of like your resistance and this is your trend line, but we'll see. And then the dollar is moving higher, kind of trying to break out like this cup and handle formation. So we'll see about that. Yeah, gonna spend a good amount of time just talking about the S&P, the NASDAQ, all the other indices and stuff. Futures are green though, up about 0.25% right now. See how that holds overnight. Doesn't look like China market's open on TradingView right now, so we'll see. Let's talk about the market, all right? Okay, let's start off with the NASDAQ and where we are. Before I even kind of go into the technicals, I'm just going to give everybody my rough predictions again. I know a lot of other people on YouTube center their channels around predictions and trying to call everything. There's might be some newer viewers in here that just don't understand like my mental standpoint on trading. That's not what I do. You know, I'm comfortable with sharing predictions, but it's just those types of creators have made it hard for creators like me because, you know, they're always talking about price targets and this stock will go up 300% by next week and just the randomest things ever. And it makes their followers also think that that's how you're supposed to trade and that's the only way to trade. So keep in mind, whenever I talk about predictions and everything, it's not financial advice. I don't know the future. And honestly, most of the time, I don't care whether I'm right or wrong. I'm using probability. And if I'm right, I can capitalize off of it. If I'm not right, either I lose a little bit of money or I don't trade it or I look for something else. That's just how I look at things. I'm very kind of open. I have a very open mind with trading. I'm not somebody who needs to be right and call everything. So let me just say that for new viewers, but I'm going to give just some rough predictions. Again, don't at me on Twitter in 2 weeks if these are completely wrong. I could care less. But where's the market right now? What are my thoughts on the market? Before we look at technicals, so today we had Powell talking, just like a quick recap of what the Fed's current standpoint is that interest rates are staying the same. No surprise, most people are probably expecting that. And then with tapering, I guess a good amount of people might have expected this to be the wording today, but kind of putting it off for now, but it could be in the near future was kind of the general way that I think they put it. My thoughts on that in general, Cheddar Freeze, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the next meeting's in September. But I think the next few weeks for the market in general might be good, but not necessarily the next few days. So let me kind of elaborate on that when we look at the technicals. But my thoughts is like just from like a fundamental standpoint, I think going up until the next Fed meeting before we actually get a more clear decision on tapering, I think we can see bullish momentum because people might be thinking that this might be the last straw. And that might not even be true, but people might be trading like that. So I think we might see some very short-term pressure. Just an FOMC minutes, Cheddar Freeze. But that's what I'm trying to think that we could see up until maybe like mid-October-ish. Or so you're saying it's in November? All right, so that's even further out. So, all right, so if it's in November, then even maybe up until November, we might see not necessarily all the way until that next meeting, but for the next couple of weeks, just kind of rallying after we know that, at least for right now, we're good on tapering. But I think as we get closer to the next FOMC meeting, that's when I think investors start really thinking that it's going to be the one where you at least get the announcement. It might not start there, but the, kind of schedule for that might be announced. And I think you might see selling going into that. Thank you, Rob, for the subscription. If anybody hasn't heard about True Trading Group, I definitely watch their streams all the time, and Mike had a very similar standpoint. So that's just kind of how I'm looking at it. So Linton, Glenn, to answer your question about tapering, it's basically the Fed's pretty much purchasing assets, quantitative easing, to kind of offset everything that happened with COVID. And just in general, whenever there's I don't know if frustrating is the right word to use, but interesting market condition or economic conditions. So pretty much tapering is easing off, right, from that kind of additional injection of liquidity into the markets or into certain markets, right? So my thoughts is going into that next meeting, if we get the announcement on tapering, I think, very short term, that'll kind of be pretty rough. But I think that the longer it takes till we actually taper, the more time people have to digest that it has to happen at some point. And the longer we go until then, it could be a little bit of a calmer move down, even if we do move down. Who knows? You never know with this market. But that's my overall thought on everything right now. Sonny says, I think Powell kind of slipped up today and mentioned how they can't mess with inflation rates until tapering is done. So inflation rates won't rise until maybe summer 2022. I mean, yeah, you have inflation over all this. And then on top of that, you never know with COVID, right? So if COVID numbers start going up like crazy again, maybe it takes even longer to start tapering, right? And then also you got to keep an eye on inflation, whatever's going on with China right now. So Jay just said, what's the stream you just mentioned that you listened to? True Trading Group. I know I've talked to one of their moderators, but I just watch like as a fan for the most part. And yeah, they do a really good job. So that's kind of my thoughts for like the next couple of months. One thing I do think is that when we have tapering, and again, I need to see what the market looks like, and then I need to see how the actual indices look. But I think that once we have that, I think it's mainly going to be big money. And what does big money mainly trade? Large cap and recently, well, not recently, but the last decade or even 2 decades, really since the year 2000, large cap and tech stocks, right? So I think what you might see is a very, very similar market to exactly a year ago. So let's say we get to November, a taper schedule is announced, whether it's slow or not. I think Powell is leading towards a very gradual kind of, tapering schedule. But I think what you might see is, big money will kind of think, all right, maybe cash is the move for the short term, especially with the potential, or I don't even know how the legislation is going with the tax hike for capital gains. I don't really know what stage that's at or if it's confirmed or if it's not, but whatever. I think big money might be kind of pulling out of large cap stocks, but I don't think they're necessarily going to dump. I just think they're going to go sideways for a while. If you remember, like last November, December, kind of like over here, you had like the S&P and the NASDAQ. They were going higher, but very kind of quietly. And a lot of names like Apple and Microsoft were literally doing nothing. I think if you look at Apple's chart from like November of last year until it finally broke over, I think 130 this year, it literally just went sideways. Same thing for like Microsoft and Amazon and those types of beta names that are heavily correlated to the S&P and the NASDAQ, right? So I think those names might get very, very boring. But what happened last year was we had those names being boring for 4 or 5 months, and we had a super aggressive small cap, mid cap market. Now, if we take a look at a lot of small caps and mid caps, they have not recovered this year since February. A lot of small caps, mid caps topped out for the year in February, while the market since February has gone up exponentially, right? So, 20% since, let me try and do this a little bit better. Let's just go from March. From March to the high we just put in, 22% is kind of double the average for the S&P in a year, right? And we did that already. So you already had that move in the large caps and those types of names. But I think for small caps and mid caps, a lot of those stocks that have not even gotten close to retesting their highs from February, if you have, large cap stocks go sideways or sell off, I think you're going to see money flowing back into those types of names because yes, a lot of those names from February were kind of garbage, way overvalued and just part of either the EV hype or the SPAC hype or the pot stock hype. But there are certain names from those groups that are actually potentially good names that are now far undervalued, 7 months later. So that's my thoughts from a fundamental standpoint and how I'm looking at the market. Let's see how that aligns with the technicals. I'm just going to start off with like the short-term technicals for the market. Then I might kind of zoom out a little bit. If you remember on Monday night stream, I was not live last night. Mehdi was covering the stream. On Monday night stream, I was talking about how I thought, Monday we had a very, very aggressive sell-off. And on Monday night stream, I said, I think we're going to have a bounce, for this week. I think we're going to be bouncing this week in the very short term. And we've seen that yesterday was slightly a bounce, I think. I can't even remember. I think we had a good morning, then we might have sold off. But today was a great day. So we obviously are much higher than Monday's low. So we have seen a nice bounce throughout the week. And really, you know, now that we're continuing to bounce, and even after we had Powell speaking today, you really didn't at least sell off. You kind of went high, then you went low, then you kind of went sideways. But I think this little short-term rally we might have been seeing, I wouldn't even call it a dead cat bounce, but I think it might have a little bit of more room. Even on Monday, I was talking about that gap fill for the S&P. So really, if/when the gap fill is tested for the S&P, how buyers and sellers react to that will be very interesting to me. I think if we test that gap fill and immediately just start selling off and go all the way back down to the lows of this week, I think we'll actually probably break the low from this week. Because not only would you be rejecting the gap fill, also Mike from Trading Group just talked about this on their live stream, and this was something we were watching for the last couple of months, but also you'd be retesting the 50-day moving average. So if you take a look there, so at the gap fill, you also retesting the 50-day moving average, and we've been talking about this for over a month now, where 50 moving average has been your support all year, right? This white line has been your support all year, and you broke it and you're still under it. So now you have to retest that. And if you remember from Monday night stream yet again, I was saying, I think, you know, you're going to see previous demand turn into supply even if we do rally. So if that is correct and we do pull back off of that, I'd pretty much become short-term bearish. If for whatever reason we test that and we just randomly break above it, I think potentially that this was the move. You know, a 4 or 5% correction is what we've been used to all year. You could see most of these dips have been around 3 to 5% the whole entire year. So then I think we put in a new high if we break over that like it's nothing. So I'll be watching that tomorrow, the day after, and if it doesn't fill this week, next week. That's really my main thought for the short term, watching the gap fills and how the moving averages are retested. So that's kind of like my short term view. Just to give some more technicals on the NASDAQ, it's kind of retesting the previous demand line as a supply line. It closed right at it today. There still is a gap fill to the upside. We did talk about that partial rise and you did get a break to the downside. However, there's not been much follow through since. So this could be argued that, you know, you had a break to the downside on both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, and now you're flipping your previous supports into resistances if we fail to break it. And that's really bearish if we do. But again, I don't know, maybe we just break right back above it, because there have been a lot of fake outs this year that we just kind of ran right back up to new all-time highs with. So again, for the S&P 500, a lot of people are charting this in different ways. For example, you have this mini upsloping channel that it broke out of to the downside. Then if we go on the daily, a lot of people are just charting the whole entire uptrend since the COVID crash as a channel. And we also broke that like on Monday to the downside. So it could be looked at as a retest, right? So that's why I'm thinking the 50-day moving average and the gap fill are very, very important to be watching this week. I already have, if we do end up going lower the next month or whatever, you know, these are the levels I'll be watching, kind of these boxes I've charted. I talked about this on Monday night stream and why I'm watching those levels for the S&P. That concludes the large caps. Let's talk about the small caps and the mid caps. For the Russell 2000, I charted a lower demand line. As I talked about on Monday night stream, we bounced off of it, and now it's actually reclaiming the upper demand line, which is what we initially had charted on the Russell 2000. So very nice move so far for the Russell. I think had close to a bullish cipher on the 1 hour chart that's currently playing out beautifully. Shout out to X-Ray Goggles for catching the cipher on the S&P on Monday. But yeah, we'll see. I think you just want to hold in the short term the 200-day moving average for the Russell. Like, let me go on the daily just to see if it's a little bit different. Yeah, 219.16. That's like your short-term level you'd want to be holding, but it has broken back below it and back above it like 3 different times, so you never know. For the ARK ETF for mid-cap traders, I just charted this today. Did I delete it? Yeah, I did. But maybe a little bit, somewhat of a potential inverse head and shoulders here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then your neckline. It could just be looked at as a range as well, like how I had it charted on Monday, where 113 is the bottom of the range, 126 is the top, but regardless, just a different way to look at it. It's not too much of a difference. So watching that for the ARK ETF if you trade mid-cap and growth stocks. On lower time frames, also hit the PCZ of a bullish bat on Monday, and had a very, very nice reaction off of that. Look, even at the bottom, you had a bullish pin bar there. So you kind of retested 119 for the ARK, which is, I think, a previous resistance and support. And that's where you kind of topped out for it today. So we'll see what happens there. Futures dipping a little bit, but they're still green. And that's pretty much the majority of my market analysis. Hopefully that was educational. But yeah, we got like 52 people in here. If you didn't already, hit that like button. and that subscribe button. Join the Discord, links in the description. A lot of stuff you can get in there for free. Let's see what's up in the chat. Many says it's crazy we all looking at the same chart and there's 5 different ways to chart it. Yeah, always will be different things that other people see. Yeah, and also for this month in general, I mean, coming into this week, I think we only had 3 days green this month for the S&P. And then if we're just looking at green candles, sometimes you're gonna have a red candle, but it was actually a green day because you might have gapped up. But if we're only looking at just from when the market opened to when the market closed, ignoring all the gaps, you've only had 4 green days this month. So yeah, we'll see if we can get some better luck in the last week and a half of trading for September. What's up, homeless Zillionaire? Anything else that I missed in the chat? Doesn't really look like it. All right, so let's talk about CLOV now. Let's get to 40 legs though. I want to see that 40 real quick. Nicholas, we probably will do take requests later. I think we'll have time. We should. Probably gonna take out like 25 minutes right now to talk about Clover, Fisker, Plug, Ford, and then Lucid, and then we'll probably have time for take requests after. So Rithwick, yeah, every single swing trade was green today, from both premium and non-premium swings. So that's good, but we did have a rough Monday and Tuesday, so can't forget that either. All right, so Clover, let's go back over to the chart and let's see what's the update here. Rob says we're seeing a squeeze happening the next week or two. Wrong channel, buddy. You know, I don't know. There's been a lot of FUD around CLOV this week. Again, it's just other content creators using certain stocks as ways to get viewership and monetize. Since the start, I've only been looking at CLOV from a technical standpoint. Sometimes I've talked about the potential for a gamma squeeze, but I've always said volume and price action needs to come in first. I'm just looking at the technicals here. That's all I'm doing. I love the fundamentals. I've talked about the fundamentals many times on stream, but that's all I'm doing. It's just other people always say that it's going to squeeze every single week, and that just puts a bad rep on what I do and what a lot of other people try to do. And it's just really annoying. It's something I've noticed, especially in the last week or so. So yeah, you know, it just leads to people teaching their own audiences incorrect ways or different ways of trading that's very different than mine. And then those people from that audience come over to this channel and, you know, ask. I'm not saying that it was you. I'm just saying in general, had a lot of messages and just a lot of weird things happened this week on Twitter, which is people telling me, why is CLOV not squeezed? I'm like, I've never once called for Clover to squeeze. So it's just frustrating, but I'm going to do what I've always been doing. Let's stop talking about all that stuff and see what's up with the technicals. Hidden bullish divergence on the daily is still there. This is actually the first time that the MACD is waning on negative momentum since September 13th. However, we do not have any bullish divergence on the daily. It could be, actually, one second. Believe it or not, it could kind of be considered because this low actually happened during a green MACD island. So technically, I mean, if you're just going off the low of this red MACD island and this MACD island, if this low does hold, you could kind of argue class B, classic bullish divergence, where you have about the same low on price from this red MACD island and this red MACD island, however much less negative momentum on the second island. But I don't know, because this low kind of throws it off a little bit for me, regardless of that island being green at the time. But yeah, we go over to the 4 hour. Really interesting. So this morning, pretty good news came out, where pretty much I think they're roughly doubling, you know, where they can have access to in terms of counties. Had a pretty good move. I think it was up 4% or something at one point. I don't. The amount of good news that's come out since June, and the fact that it's other than this, 50% rally, which is good, but was mainly with Wall Street bets. Other than that, there's been so just nonstop good news that's come out in this whole entire downtrend, and every single time it's just been like, oh, it gaps up a couple percent in the morning, fills the gap within the first hour of the day on the morning flush, and then goes sideways. It's just the price. I mean, if you got this type of news on a lot of other stocks, I don't know this for sure, but the same type of news that Clover got this morning could have moved other types of stocks up a lot more than closing 1.5% green. I just think it was weird. Because there has been some random news for Clover, like they had like a magazine news thing come out, which whatever. They do have a lot of PR releases that are not really too important, honestly. But the one today was pretty important and really nothing. I mean, there was a nice move, but didn't really hold. But regardless of all that, again, this is just like a visual wedge that I have. It's not necessarily a textbook falling wedge with 5 kind of waves within inside the pattern. But still a nice way to visualize that the volatility is just decreasing that the lower it went. Hidden bullish divergence, it's closer to confirming on the 4-hour. The RSI yet again bounced around this 37 level we talked about on Monday night stream. So that's good. Hopefully it can stay above it, but again, it's not the end of the world if it breaks it. I don't really use RSI levels too much for analysis, but it's just interesting to see historically. Last 2 times the RSI on the 4 got down to 37. It was right over here before it went up 50%. And then right over here where it also went up. So kind of bounce off that same level again. You had 2 bullish pin bars yesterday. Was that yesterday? You had 1 bullish pin bar, I think, on Monday in the afternoon, and then another one on Tuesday in the morning, and then this was the 4-hour from yesterday afternoon. So you did have 2 4-hour bullish pin bars in a row, kind of back tested the wedge, and then you actually had a nice move this morning, obviously alongside the news. And then you did actually paint a 4-hour bearish engulfing candle though, and I think that Clover kind of sold it off. It was actually around the high of the day, right before Powell started speaking, and then the market kind of sold off for a little bit, and Clover sold off, and then the market actually kind of went back up and then went sideways, but Clover never really recovered intraday. It just kind of dipped on the first time the market dipped and just stayed there. Actually dipped a little bit even further. So yeah, that's another variable. And then if we go over to the 1 hour, I've been talking about this all week, the bullish bat. You hit the PCZ on the 1 hour chart with classic bullish divergence. And yeah, you had a nice move off the lows. I mean, made a 5% move, but obviously if this is going to play out like a textbook bat, it would be pretty much 9 to really 11. Just this whole entire range would be how a lot of people target bats, right? The B point, the C point, and the A point. So we'll see if there could be a large move from here, but argument could be made that you had your reversal over here and now you're pulling back again, and you could put in potentially a confirmation low or a double bottom at the PCZ of this bat. One interesting thing to me is if we look at this bottom over here, you had your first kind of rounding mini bottom, then you had a small kind of pullback, and then you went back up. Same thing over here, small rounding bottom, small pullback. We'll see what happens next. It's not the same exact scenario, but I'm just trying to look for price patterns to see if things play out or not. Again, it's not about validation and being right or wrong and calling things, it's just about seeing which probabilities work, which don't. So you can kind of take notice of that. So that's really the 1 hour chart for Clover. 30 minutes kind of looks the same, honestly. And yeah, I mean, the only bearish technical you could kind of argue is a 4-hour bearish engulfing candle, but that is kind of lining up with hidden bullish divergence and historical bounce level for the RSI. So I don't know if that invalidates it or not, but we'll see what happens. In general, I would just like to see it reclaim above $8. It really hasn't. What's like the best way for me to put this? All right, let's put it like this. Clover in this whole entire downtrend has not closed under 777 for more than 2 days. So it closed under 77 or 777. It closed under that for these 2 days. It got back above it, didn't close under it there, only closed above at that level one time. So in general, you just want to see it continue to close above really this 770 level in the short term, and if that breaks, then the previous low at 740-ish. So that's the Clover rundown. We'll see what happens, but it's interesting, to say the least. Kind kind of similar to this first consolidation range. If you really look at it move by move, it kind of is. First rally, bounce back up, kind of consolidate for a little bit, have a nice run, sell off, and then you'll see what happens. But it's much smaller of a range here than it was over here, so I don't know. And I looked at the options data before the stream. There wasn't too much of a difference today, so I'm not really gonna spend time looking at that. Maybe look at the flow maybe. Just straight up calls today. But yeah, not too much of a difference if you look over here. And then the final thing we were talking about on Monday was the historical IV. Yeah, not too much of anything. But yeah, the historical IV, I mean, historically, local bottoms on CLOV have been found when this historical IV was kind of around the bottom of, you know, this chart that TradyTix has. And it's around the bottom again. My chat's blocking it so you can't see the current one, but we looked at it on Monday. And then really not much of a change for the options chain, like at all. It's kind of like the same exact thing. I'm going to keep this up so we can look at Fisker. But yeah, that's CLOV. Pretty short and sweet, to the point. We'll see what happens. Fisker swing starting up 5% since the entry. 4-hour chart. Broke out of a little descending broadening wedge. Okay. Classic bullish divergence confirmed and continuing. Alright. On the daily, you now have 3 consecutive days as the MACD being green with triple classic bullish divergence off the PCZ of a bullish Gartley at a historical support. Wow. Good job, Fisker, so far. Of course, there's always a chance of it double bottoming at the PCZ, or there's always a chance of it completely failing, or there's a chance of it playing out beautifully. We'll see which one it decides to do, but yeah. In general, getting back above 1455 would be huge. But in between 12 and 1455, it might be a little bit range bound. So we'll see if I think if it gets back above 1455, and it holds above, there's a decent probability of the first target hitting, just because historically between 1455 and 1750, there's really not much, right? You can see straight down, straight up, 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 right? So if it can just get above 1450 and hold it, I think it could play out, but it has to do that first. Good start to the trade though. We'll see what continues to develop for Fisker. That first target's also a gap fill, by the way, from like August 11th. And then the second target is pretty much just like the top of the harmonic pattern. So hopefully Fisker can become legendary yet again, like it was when we traded it over here and traded it over here and over here. But we'll see. You know, the thing about Fisker is like the standards are so high, right? Because from what we've seen in the past on swing trades with Fisker, I mean, it's just been beautiful. So I'm just hoping that it's, you know, the same thing, but you never know, right? That's why every time I put out Fisker swing, it's like, I don't want to break the record. I think, you know, it's a pretty good record right now. But I mean, this is probably one of the strongest edges I've ever seen. It's not a certainty, it's just a probability, but all the things I look for on swings are currently there. And yeah, I mean, honestly, it is a tad bit surprising to me that it's only up, you know, 36% since the NAV price from when it was a SPAC. But I'm not complaining. Personally, I'm not complaining. You know, it just longer time. For me, I'm not telling you to think the same way. You have whatever opinions you want. I could care less about what you think about Fisker, but I'm just saying that in general. If you disagree with me, I don't care. I accept that. But for me personally, I think the longer amount of time that I'm able to accumulate, it's like better for me. And that's just how I'm looking at it. I still believe in Fisker just as much as I believed in it up here, down here, anywhere on this chart. I have the same amount of belief in Fisker fundamentally. So we'll see what this looks like in 5 to 10 years. You know, my time horizon on Fisker is longer than any other stock, honestly. So we'll see how this all works out end game. And yeah. And then 2 other ongoing swings are Plug and the new one today, Ford. Plug, good stuff. I think this trade's also up 5% since the entry. I think this was alerted on Monday, maybe. But yeah, it broke out of this downsloping channel after double bottoming around 24 bucks. And all of that in context is after hitting the PCZ of roughly a bullish Gartley. And then after hitting the PCZ of a bullish Gartley, creating a bullish shark, or it was a shark or a cipher. But I mean, wow. Like, wow. I think, yeah, it was a cipher. So bullish shark into a bullish cipher with triple classic bullish divergence on both oscillators on the daily with the double bottom out of support breaking out of a channel. How does that sound? That's an edge. It's not a certainty, it's an edge. And then on top of that, I looked at this, I think yesterday on the weekly. You now have confirmed hidden bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. This actually wasn't confirmed yesterday. It got confirmed with it going up 3% today. So this is a weekly chart, and you have hidden bullish, extreme hidden bullish divergence confirmed for plug on both oscillators. So yeah, I mean, look at the context of this too. It bottomed out around this 2368 area, which is also where it bottomed at in 2000. I didn't even know that plug was this old. I honestly thought plug was like one of the newer companies from like the whole entire EV space, you know, with everything going crazy in the last 2 years. But wow. And then also, like, you really zoom out, it could be argued that it's like an insane rounded bottom, and this is a little bit deep to be a handle, so you couldn't really call it a cup and handle, but it's just crazy. Yeah, so hopefully this can not disappoint, but we'll see what the market has to say. And then another one, Ford. Okay, I don't know if this is the first one I've ever put on in Ford. I think we might have traded in premium once or something, but you have confirmed 4-hour hidden bullish divergence for Ford. You double bottomed at around 1250-ish. And where did you double bottom? In a previous resistance zone turned into a demand zone. And what's the context of all of that? You just broke out of a supply line. And on top of all of that, it's not perfect because you had a 69% retrace on your B point, which is a little bit too extreme for me to kind of chart it like that, but kind of a bullish Gartley. The thing that you could argue is if you look at this over here, it just kind of went down there for like 1 day. I don't know, there might have been news that morning or the market was right. It just kind of quickly went down there and then got right back up. So if you kind of go to where the candles close, which again, when using Fibonacci, if you're going to use candle bodies, you have to use it for all points. So that just kind of makes it pointless. But if you ignore that, we could call it a scam wick potentially. It is a perfect 61% retrace. I just didn't put it on the swing ID on TradingView because it technically is not. Like, if you're going to be super strict about it, it's technically not, you know, if you go wick to wick, it's technically not really in the confines of the B point you would want on a Gartley, but it's just another thing you can kind of keep an eye on. And then, you know, you reverse at, regardless of even any harmonic, you reverse at the 78% retrace, right? From low to high. So you reverse there short term, and now you're trying to consolidate, and now you're trying to get back above. There's a gap fill to fill around 1350-ish. If it can break, that's even like a previous support level. If it can break that, then the next resistance is like the first target around 1477. So that's my thoughts on Ford right now. I did a little bit of research on chips today. If you're a premium member, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you know, I'm interested to see how a lot of these EV companies do, as well as chip stocks do, now that we're a little bit deeper into this chip shortage situation where you never know. I don't know when, you know, shortages are going to end, but if they do, just think about classic supply and demand. Who has the supply? Who has the demand? Who profits off of what? That's all I'm going to say. And then Lucid, this is not an ongoing swing, but last Thursday in the morning, I shared it with premium members at $21.16. And then in the nighttime, I decided to share with everybody on the stream. It wasn't a swing trade or anything. It was on my watch list. I was scanning and I saw that it broke out of this wedge with classic bullish divergence on the daily. And I shared it somewhat around like the low $21 area. And I really haven't mentioned it this week on stream. I was only live on Monday, but it's gone up like 32% since I talked about it last Thursday. Wish I put out a swing on it, obviously, but I kind of missed it. And then today it did go back down 7% after hitting this 2785 level, which was also charted last Thursday when I went over this on stream. So I didn't put out a swing, but if you were just watching last Thursday's stream, I was talking about how I was breaking out of this wedge and all these levels were charted. I didn't rechart anything. You can go back to last Thursday night stream and look exactly where it topped out at. Not too hard to figure out. It was a historical resistance and it pulled back 7%. And then where did it bottom at today? At a historical support. Like literally it tapped the historical resistance, pulled back to a support at 2432, which was also charted last Thursday, and bounced off of that. So it's just kind of it back in between 2432 and 27.85 at this current point. I'm not talking about this, you know, it does not look the same to me that it did last Thursday. Now you have like 3 different gaps to fill, and it just went up over 30%. But just an update on how well that is done in the past week or so. Good stuff there. Looking back at futures, actually going back up. So Russell futures are up 0.4%. That's good so far. And China gapped up. And Evergrande is up Evergrande gapped up 15% today. That's the first day it's gapped up. I mean, honestly, probably in this whole entire downtrend, but it's just had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red days in a row. And then today just gapped up 15%. I don't know if there was any news that came out with Evergrande this morning, or I guess it's the night for us, but it's the morning there. So I have no clue what's going on fundamentally. That probably overrides all the technicals here. I'm just telling you it's up 15% today. And also the Hang Seng Index is reversing at it's not really reversing, but it had an impulse at the PCZ of a bullish bat that we talked about for the last 2 weeks, which is also a historical support and resistance. Like, what? Can technicals actually at least lead to a one-day bounce when there's an insane fundamental debate, not really debate, but situation going on? Wow, I wonder what that means. Is that just psychology? I don't know. But again, it's only one day, so I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself. But just an update on what's going on there. And Cuckoo Bird with the first tip of the night, the Canadian $20 tip, says, here's your tip for the LCID, a nice run, a nice profit. Oh, so you played it. Glad to see somebody got some profit off of it. Congrats. And I think that's the first tip this week. I think Medi got a tip last night from Florida Nick, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't show up on my Streamlabs, but thank you. I think that's my first tip of the week. I'm sorry. Let me see it in the log. 6 days. Yeah, I think that was last week. But Cuckoo Bird, let's get some vibes in the chat for Cuckoo Bird with the $20 tip. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for yet another tip. And let's get some vibes right now in the chat. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 50 likes. And if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, what you're thinking. It's just a subscribe button. Just hit that button and you get free analysis every single night the market is open the following day. So yeah, we've pretty much recapped everything I had to cover, which took about 40 minutes. I honestly thought it would take longer, but I did a good job of not spending 40 minutes on Clover tonight. So yeah, we'll have a good amount of time for take requests. What's that worth in US dollars? I don't think there's too much of a difference. I think it's only a couple bucks difference, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, actually, we'll do take requests probably for the rest of the stream, and we'll start off with the take request from NAC Resistance. Hope you're doing well, Resistance. Haven't talked to you in a minute, but you're a real one. Yeah, we'll take a look at Palantir first. Feel like a cup and handle on the daily, but it could be a stretch. No, it's not $2 US. I'm pretty sure, like, I think 20 Canadian dollars is like 22 US. Let's see if I'm right. No, it's 16. So 20 Canadian dollars. All right, so I was thinking about that the other way around. So how much is 20 US dollars to Canadian? 26. All right, so it's about like a 5 difference depending on which way you calculate it. So I was $3 off. Yeah, do not request anything that was up over 30% today. Don't request anything that IPO'd within the last month. And remember, nothing I say is financial advice. All right, keep hitting that like button. Check out the links in the description if you haven't already. We've had this is just another random point I just want to bring up. This is this month so far, and it's actually not the best month for premium right now compared to what last month was amazing. I think also May was really good. But this month's been okay, especially for options. It's been pretty good. Apart from this week, we had a rough start. But this month has been the least amount of cancellations in premium since I started premium, which is that's a cool stat to me because it shows that people are sticking around and enjoying the content. But I think we've only literally had a few not cancellations, but people who just didn't renew this month. So if you're a premium member, thank you for sticking with me. I mean, swings have been pretty good so far this week. Options, not the best start. We still got 2 more days, but just want to also say thank you to all the premium members if you're in the chat. And yeah. So let's start off with Palantir, and then CRSP is out of stock. I don't know the ticker for that. You're gonna have to help me out there, Christopher. Oh, you did. CRSPR. CRSPR. No, it's not popping up on my trading view. I don't know if I'm typing it in wrong though. EGLX, Boeing, LAC, MMAT, LIDR, SHIB. Alright, so we're gonna start off with Palantir. Kind of like triple classic bearish divergence on the daily, unfortunately. This was a premium trade. Alerted at 21, it actually already hit the first target at 27.50. The first target was there because it was your high from June and March. It got above it for a little bit and then kind of pulled back under it. Now it's just retesting it. So the second target I had on this trade for premium members was 31.18, which I think is right under a gap fill from February 12th. So I saw, I was looking initially at it like an inverse head and shoulders at a support. That was kind of the trade idea. There was even hidden bullish divergence at the entry. At this point, it's instead of hidden bullish divergence, there's classic bearish divergence. Maybe you could just kind of chart like a trend line, something like that, which still is above. In terms of a cup and handle, I think you're probably, let me just delete this. I think you're probably looking at it like, I don't know if you're zoomed out, but I think you might be looking at it like this. You definitely have a cup. Do you have a handle? Not really. So you have a rounding bottom. You don't always need a handle, but sometimes rounding bottoms just play out. The thing about this, because you might also be arguing that this is the handle. If you want to argue that that's the handle, then, this is kind of your cup. And then this is your handle, which is okay to argue. But then your neckline would be like this. So to break out of it, you'd have to break this line. So it's pretty hard to break out of an upsloping neckline. You need a pretty good amount of volume and momentum to get above that. That's why I don't really prefer cup and handles or even inverse head and shoulders with upsloping necklines. So it could be argued, but typically I like parallel necklines or slightly down sloping necklines just for like tradability. So that's how I'd be looking at that for right now. But yeah, if it gets above 27.50 and if it can hold above it, you do have a gap fill like 31.33, then a resistance at 33.50. If you cannot break above it, then I think your support probably around like the $25 area. EGLX. I don't think it's deep enough for a harmonic. Yes, at an 886, this would be a harmonic. And that would actually line up from a high back from like January of last year. But it's nowhere near there for right now, so it doesn't really matter. I'd just say it's in a falling wedge for right now. You do have quadruple classic bullish divergence on the daily. Your RSI is oversold. And you are at a somewhat of a level. There's not much of a level to be created off of this run up, but you did consolidate over here for a few days. That's kind of what you're testing right now. Trying to see if there's like another harmonic I could find in this, but it's not super clear to me. So that's really all I got for that. Boeing, I like how it kind of had a little bit of a fake out, maybe just because of the market, but now you actually have triple classic bullish divergence on the daily, on the MACD and the RSI, and a really, really good day today. This was the highest candle close Boeing has had since September 3rd. So, wow. You just engulfed all these candles in one day, and you're back above this historical area at 211. So as long as you can hold above 211, your next resistance is 223 and then 240. So, interesting Boeing. Very good day today. I don't know if there was news or anything, but say the 22nd, yeah. Good day for Boeing. LAC. This could be a clearer cup and handle, where this is your cup, and then it might just now be beginning to handle. And then your neckline could just be something like this. I don't really see much divergence on the daily. Potential, if you ignore these like little red islands, potential hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour. That's LAC, MMAT, just kind of consolidating right now. I like how it's consolidating above 483, which was a high from April. So as long as it can keep holding that, that's good. Your next major resistance is like the mid $6 or upper $6 area, which was a support back from like 2014. And it was even your high on March 12th. So might be, I don't know if you'd call this a bull flag or just probably it's a clearer as like a descending triangle, but it's pretty much at the apex of the triangle. So it might break to either direction soon, or it will break to either direction soon. Yeah, something like that. And then also hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour. Let me keep this on my watch list. I want to see which way it breaks out though. Also, does anybody watching the stream watch Billions? I can't stop thinking about the last episode of Billions. It's been on my mind like the whole entire week. Probably one of the best episodes ever was on Sunday. I'm literally wearing the shirt right now. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to all the take requests like that. It's quite a bit. Apps, I really can't. I mean, LIDR, I really can't do much with. It's just not really something that technicals matter on for right now. At least high time frame technicals, which is what I pretty much am looking at for the purpose of this stream. I don't want to be looking at low time frames because those literally change day by day, and it could be a completely different setup tomorrow, depending on how it's trading, if there's news, what the market looks like. So on the daily, there's just not enough meaningful data for me to get a technical edge on, and I don't know anything about it fundamentally. So not bullish, not bearish, just I have no clue. SHIB is just kind of in this zone between 0.0000952 and then 0.00558. That's how I'm going to say it. And it's right in the middle of the zone. So another one I just don't see a technical edge on. I can see going either way. And I don't know anything about. AA. Definitely rounding out since 2018. 43.59 is like the larger support I see historically, then like pretty much 57. Yeah, like 57 to 59. That's like a support from 2006 and 2008. Even a support in 2005, 2003, and a resistance in 2002, a support in 2000. Like, look at this. There's a reason that this happens. So that's just really, really impressive. So we just went 20 years in the past. Let's go back to the future. One of my favorite movies as well. Well, Billions is not a movie, but yeah, I don't really know. Short term, you do have some classic bearish divergence, kind of like an upsloping channel. CEI, it was down 9% today. It kind of back tested to 143, which was a high from October 8th of last year and December 24th of last year. And it was kind of your low from February 3rd, 2020. So if it can hold this, next resistance is 193. If it cannot hold this from a technical standpoint, there's not much between 143 and 102 in terms of historical support. It could be starting to create a triangle pattern though. So keep that in mind as well. TDOC, could be a long-term, I think a premium member requested this recently, but it could be a long-term potential double bottom at the PCZ of a bullish shark. And then even more so you could chart this as a resistance. And then on the daily, you do have a classic bullish divergence. That's confirmed as of today on the MACD and on the RSI. So this could take a while, but it's a pretty long-term good probability edge as long as it holds 129.71. So you also have clear risk management, but I'm actually gonna keep this on my watch list as well. All right. Hope there's pretty good education from these ticker requests tonight. So hopefully, even if you're not requesting a ticker and you're just, you know, watching, you're learning some stuff. And if you're ever confused about the terms I bring up on the stream, there's a free course, 3.5 hours long, that you can learn about 90% of the things I bring up on the stream. The link's in the description. So always check that out if you haven't already. FLGT has hidden bullish divergence on the daily. I'd also kind of look at this like a triangle. That's what I got. I think maybe whichever way it breaks out could be telling for the short term. Link, it's trying to hold this like $29 area. So those are your two levels. These are pretty much your levels on Blink. And you do have classic bullish divergence on the daily. Kind of on the RSI as well. Yeah, those are your levels. It definitely is at the lower part of the range rather than the upper part of the range. So there's an edge, not the clearest of edges, but it's there. Even on the 4 hour, you have classic bullish divergence. Apps could be breaking out of this descending wedge pretty early though. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then instead of having a fifth touch, you made a partial decline, right? So instead of going all the way back down to the demand line before coming to the supply line, you just went right back up to the supply line. That's a partial decline, which gave you a 70% chance of breaking out right over here, and you broke out. So we'll see what that could turn into. Next resistance is like $77 to $80. In terms of support, like $64.50-ish. And also like $66.78. So those are your levels. And also, I mean, it maybe could be argued a little bit like an inverse head and shoulders over here. All right. You pin that like button. Let's get to 60 likes right now. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord, links in the description. I'm just trying to help you. So you help me, I help you, right? Helps to grow the channel, so that helps me, but also helps to educate you. So it's a win-win. QS, QS was my best trade ever. So I always, whenever I hear QS, I just think about the middle of February. Oh yeah, billions. I think they're actually they kind of cut like halfway through this current season because of COVID. Now they're just kind of finishing this current season right now, and they started, you know, putting out new episodes like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So yeah, it's not a new season, but it's just kind of continuing the season they left off on. CSPR, CRSP. I'm getting so confused, Christopher. Wait, so is this CRISPR? Do you want me to look at this? CSPR? Casper? I think it's this one, CRISPR Therapeutics. I'm going to keep that one on my watch list. CLOV. We already looked at CEI. It'll be in the description. I mean, in the timestamps, which will be in the pinned comment in the scroll bar. Jeff, I don't know if it's going to go higher or drop tomorrow. I mean, I'll look at if there's any swing trade technical edge. We'll get to it. All right, so I think that'll probably have about like 10 or so tickers I just add to my watch list. Sorry if I missed any. I'll probably finish these, maybe talk to the chat for a little bit, and then maybe call it there. So I'll probably have like another 15-20 minutes of the stream. PENN, I want to see it hold this like 73 level. This is the level. It kind of broke under it for a little bit, maybe because of the market, and I was trying to break back above it. I just really want to see PENN hold above it, and if it can, then you can argue inverse head and shoulders. So I just want to see it honestly just hold above this swing low it's trying to put in right now, and then you will have triple hidden bullish divergence as well. So wow, I mean, all it has to do is get back above and hold above this yellow zone. If it can do that, I think 85 could be next. If it breaks 85, I mean 96 if it breaks 96, 109 if it breaks 109, 128 if it breaks 128, all-time highs. Those are your levels. If it cannot do any of those things and it just falls, then you have your $70 support, then you got $64.99, then you got 52, then you got 40. Those are all your levels for PENN. CRSP 115 is the level you want to hold. You have some classic bullish divergence, not really doing too much on the daily, or I mean on the 4 hour. Could be kind of looked at as like a descending triangle as well. Yeah, I mean, just maybe depends on whichever way it breaks. If it breaks to the upside, your resistances are 129 and 136. If it breaks to the downside, support I see is like 106 to 110. So those are all your levels on CRSP. Wish is up next. Wow. Before we look at Wish, Evergrande is up 20. I mean, I guess not super wow because of like, I mean, if we really zoom out, this is literally like nothing, like at all. But it's, I don't know the last day that it's been up 27% in this whole entire, really in the last 2 months or however long. But yeah, big jump for Evergrande tomorrow. I'm really interested to see if there's a reason behind this and how this looks like for the overall market. And the Hang Seng Index is actually gapped up, but now it's kind of intraday pulling back. But back to not Chinese stocks. Wish, I don't know if it's the best way to look at it. Let's just look at it like this. You have triple classic bullish divergence potentially on the daily on the MACD, on the MACD. And if you really kind of zoom in, just like a down sloping channel. I know the Lump was talking about this in the Discord last night. If it can break this channel, it could run back up to test 763. If it can't, then you don't have any other historical support here. So, I mean, if you want to use Fibonacci for support, your 1272. If it breaks lower, your 1272 is 570. Your 1618 is $5. It's probably also psychological level as well. ANY. Let me just make this a little bit simpler. Your support is 568, and you do have potential hidden bullish divergence, but it's not confirmed, and you know, just had a crazy run. So you kind of just created a range between 568 and 763 in the short term. Pretty close to a bullish engulfing candle today as well. Yeah, pretty much a bullish engulfing candle today. QS. We talked about this. I think we even tried to swing it, but it got stop hunted. Yeah, I mean, some news came out earlier this week. It had a very nice move. It was up 16% yesterday, I think, yeah. And yeah, I mean, all that happened after kind of getting towards the PCZ of a bullish butterfly and breaking out of this falling wedge. So if we just clear this up, I mean, if QS can break back above 2451, then these are your next levels. So I'm going to put this back onto my watch list. Where was it? This right over here was my best trade ever. If any of you were around for this, I was going crazy for like 2 weeks, just nonstop talking about QS, and it just looked random to everybody, and then boom, it just went crazy. So yeah, that was my best trade of my short-lived, not short-lived, but short span trading career. Hopefully not short-lived. But yeah, so far in the last 2 years, this move right here was the one for me. I had a lot of options on it, and it worked out, thankfully. QS, though, you do have this gap filled to like 2150-ish, so we'll see. I just want to see it get back above 2451. It looked kind of like triple topped at that over here, and it was support back in like May, so short-lived because Fisker getting delisted. I don't think Fisker's getting delisted, but anything's possible. Hopefully not. NAT. It's testing a make or break area historically. We'll see. If it can't hold it, then 182 could be next. If it does break back above, then 277's your next resistance from this high and then these two lows. On the 4 hour, maybe some hidden bullish divergence. Yeah. KULR, in descending broadening wedge. 265 is your resistance. You topped out at that yesterday. Kind of have a short-term support around 222. If that breaks, then you got 185. If you really zoom in, maybe you could argue like a cup and handle. Not super clear of a handle though. BRQS. I don't like how it broke under 73 cents. I would like to see it get back above that. If it does, I mean, there's room back up to 83 cents then, but it's under that for right now, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you do have a gap fill of 71 cents. I don't know about that one. I can see it going either way. OEG. Your support is around 292-ish. Hopefully that can hold. If not, then, I mean, that's when it gets scary from a technical standpoint. That was even your resistance in 2017 over here, and now it's your support over here. Maybe he's trying to double bottom off of that level. Hopefully he can. And you have like somewhat triple classic bullish divergence. So maybe that helps out a little bit. We'll see. Just want to hold that level. And then final ticker of the night, ATER. There's not much I can do here from a technical standpoint. We did talk about it over here though. How it was, you know, back testing a support, which used to be a resistance from like October last year. And that actually ended up holding. Now it's moving back up. 1953 is the next historical resistance. There's not too much history on this chart. But I don't know. I don't really know anything about this fundamentally, and there's a lot of talk about it, obviously all over social media. We'll see. But yeah, I don't really see much apart from the levels on the chart to be talking about. Futures, still green. Evergrande's now up 28% on the day. Look at the volume. Highest volume in a long time. Bitcoin bouncing up a little bit right now as well. What song is this? This song is called Fairy Vibes. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Take Request Night. Keep hitting that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Check out the links in the Discord. If you want to join Premium, which is where I share additional swing trade ideas apart from the free ones. Day trades, options trades, weekly watch lists, just a bunch of education. That's the first link in the description. There's also the free Discord if you want to join that. That link's in the description. It talks about, well, not talks about, but it has paid bots that you can get for free. A bunch of my alerts for free, not financial advice, just charts and supports and resistances and patterns. You can meet 2,000 other traders. Educational resources, that's the Discord. If you want to watch the free course, it's 3.5 hours long. I took a lot of time to make that course and plan it out and structure it and edit it. The free course is in the description, and tips and merch is in the description. Probably need to revamp the merch at some point. I think you know, I haven't really updated the merch since like February, so yeah, maybe I'll try and do that towards the end of the year, or probably I should do that. I might try and do that this weekend. I don't know, I'm super busy. But yeah, check out the links in the description. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Just want to bring all those points up. Pretty good stream so far. I mean, I'm just going to talk to the chat for the rest of the stream. I'm going to watch Bitcoin on the 1 minute for entertainment. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of charting for the day. I've been charting since like 9 a.m. Actually, I woke up late, so I've been charting since like 11 a.m. So I'm just kind of going to check out for the day, but I don't mind seeing what's up in the chat for a little bit. Me Tenderfoot says, impressive bro, love what you're doing, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. The guy says kind of risky taking new swings without clarity on the midterm market. Things change. You never know. You know, in general, short term, you still have that gap fill. We'll see what happens when that kind of reacts to it. But I haven't really put out many. I mean, I guess Ford is a large cap. I don't even know how large the market cap is on Ford, honestly. It's just, you know, one of the most well-known companies. But most of the swings are small caps and mid caps. So small caps and mid caps, like I talked about in the beginning of the stream, have very, very different, you know, the ARK and the IWM look pretty different than the S&P and the NASDAQ. So yeah, and I was even talking about how you have a lot of those small caps and mid caps from February, which kind of topped out. And they haven't even gotten close to retesting their highs from February. Meanwhile, a lot of the stocks that are large caps have been nonstop rallying since February. So even if you do see a pullback for the NASDAQ and the S&P, you could potentially see rotation into small caps and mid caps, which haven't really been hot since February. So there could be arguments made to either side. Again, you never have certainty in the market, so there's always going to be risk, especially if the S&P and the NASDAQ in general look kind of weird. But you never know. I mean, we still have until November until we get more clarity on tapering. So yeah, we'll see. Sunny, I have not. KTF says, have you started skipping classes chart? No, I just kind of chart in between classes. I only go to college 2 days a week. And then this week I'm not going tomorrow. So I only went on Tuesday this week. Medi says, can you clown the lump for us? Yeah, the lump is Champion Vibes Tea and Medi Syrup. So I don't know what the lump's been up to, but he's making all sorts of accounts. I bet he has like 1,000 emails. But yeah, I am going to say that like a certainty. I don't know if it's true, but that's pretty much what I've come to the conclusion about, and I'm sure many others have. I don't know, maybe I think it's got to be one of the clowns. It's either the lump or Medi. I don't think it's Medi because Medi was streaming while Medi's Tea was talking in the chat. So, but it's also pretty likely that whoever made Champion Vibes Tea is also Medi's Syrup. So I would figure based on that. See, like, there you go. Medi is in the chat, but also Medi's Syrup is in the chat. So it's most likely the lump. Simply Sung says, I've been swinging on the 5-minute chart using Forex charts. MACD and RSI. Yeah, I mean, there's different strategies, of course. Forex is definitely most of the time very technical. That's where a lot of these patterns were kind of identified and researched and solidified. But yeah, Medi is the T guy. No, is he? I don't know. I can't tell. See, it's 100% Medi or the lump because now both of them are in the chat. Champion Vibes Tea and Medi Syrup. Alright, so I guess I'm just talking to Tea and Syrup in the chat. I don't know. I could end the stream right here. I was trying to see if anybody has things to talk about, topics to bring up. You want me to game for a little bit? I'm just really bored. The only thing is, if I keep streaming, then it's gonna take longer for Medi to do the timestamps. You don't have to timestamp anymore, Medi, but I don't know if he can do timestamps while I'm still streaming. So that kind of makes it a little bit difficult because I have to stay up later. Should I play some games though? Let's see some COD. I cannot. The Xbox in my brother's room. But yeah, I mean, that Champion Vibes started with Call of Duty. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know that or not, but my Twitter account, this YouTube account, I started with Call of Duty content and everything. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, probably there's nobody in this chat right now that would beat me in a 1v1. I'm not even joking. Like, literally, That was nasty. I mean, we could honestly, instead of me doing this, we could like maybe look at like my Call of Duty videos. They're private, but I don't know. I probably said a lot of bad words, so I don't even know if I want to show that. All right, so I'll let everybody vote. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of chill out. I mean, I have 24% on my battery, so I'll let you vote for everybody who's still watching the stream. So yes for COD videos, no for Slither IO. And yeah, so I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. You all can answer. I'm gonna make my nickname Solo Egg Car. All right, here we go. I should probably, I can't pause this, great. I guess it's fine like this, but I should probably use the other overlay. And also I've never tried playing a game while I'm streaming, so this might lag everything super horribly. All right, so most people want to see the COD clips. I mean, we can't. All right, one thing I also want to say, keep in mind, all those, if we're gonna look at COD clips, all of those are against like amateur, not amateur, like I used to play like amateur competitive teams. I used to be on a few different teams, not like professional or anything, but just like if anybody knows what game battles are and like tournaments and like amateur leagues. So all those clips are against like not like pub players. They're against like not the best players, but pretty decent players. So just want to say that as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I want to risk it. Those videos are private for a reason. It's just me probably cursing a lot. And I don't really curse anymore on streams. Mute the clips. I'll just make it boring though. Yeah, it's just starting to lag. It's probably killing my battery too. There's 40 people watching me play this. It's just, you guys are the best. I mean, oh no. Oh no. All right, we're good. I'm not even looking through this monitor, which I should be. I'm looking through like my Streamlabs monitor so I can see the chat at the same time. But yeah, it's just crazy. I can't even believe I'm a streamer now. Like, that's wild to me. Like, it's literally a Wednesday night and I'm just playing this random game. Nope. Oh, great. This is not gonna end well. Yeah, this is definitely, oh gosh, I wasn't looking. All right, so should we look at these? Yeah, go subscribe to MM Finance if you haven't already. Coach B, Tar Heel Blue. Do not subscribe to Medic Vibe. Okay. I mean, actually, screw it. Subscribe to Medic Vibe. He's probably never gonna post anything, but yeah. All right, so what should we look at? I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna like make a mistake here. Yeah, all these videos are private. I think I deleted like I used to have like clip videos. Like I used to like edit them. Let me see if those are on my channel. They're privated. All right, just go here. Oh, I have them. Great. All right, so I think we should just look at those instead. I'm not even talking in them too. So these are, all right, so these are all from like competitive matches, not from like pubs. You can look at the pubs too though. I think I can play Mac Miller on the stream. This feels so weird. I mean, this is like, oh my gosh, I haven't watched this in so long. I honestly don't know why I use that gun either. Metron Flux Lab says, am I on the right channel? Oh, that was nice. Yeah, it was super toxic, Netty. Must be the type to manage his risk playing COD. Hopefully this is not like, I don't think it's lagging. Usually I start lagging when my battery's low though. Tell us how you met Medic 5. When I was 12, he was my neighbor. So we just were kids and we would just like play outside. Now it looks like I'm having some frame issues. The bitrate is lower than recommended. I need like really good clips here. I miss COD. Yeah, I'm not that good with snipers either, Sonny. In Black Ops 2 though, I was nice with snipers. You want to see toxic clips? I don't even, it's like really blurry so you can't see it, but like it says champion vibe like right there. I mean, I could play like the videos I was gonna play before. These were like competitive matches. Thing is, I don't know. I'd want to like check these videos before I play them on stream, but whatever. This is bullish, says KTF. 1v3 against top team.
Enemy cluster strike. Take cover.
I wish Resistance was still watching. Resistance was in the chat earlier. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty with him. Alright, I mean, I guess this might be getting boring. We could play the other stuff. What's like the best one?
What up, what up?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to play this. You should hit the subscribe button if you're cool. Otherwise, just don't. But then you should like the video. Thank you. See you later. Watch the video. And I just winked. Wow.
My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man
Oh my
alive.
gosh. It's not easy. It's not easy to start a channel. There's definitely going to be some like horrible stuff said. Either by me or whoever I was playing with.
He's dead, he's dead.
No, there's another one. Wait, no, yeah, let's end this.
Yo, there's 3 of them in the spawn store.
I'm just going to put down the volume, I guess.
You dead? Scott, beamed off that.
Yo, dead.
Help.
Okay, I'm rotating. Grab hill, grab hill.
Someone grab hill, someone grab hill.
Thought I heard one.
I'm gonna go left,
They caught me trying to
I'll kill the
rotate.
train. I think I snuck my left. No, I did it.
He's on the right side of this.
I'm playing my
What's
left.
9 plus 10?
You guys can probably hit front.
So funny.
Oh, you saw me? Oh my god.
You put your volume on max, I put the volume down on my side.
There's no one left.
Yeah, I used to wear the headphones. I was wearing like square headphones here, but I used to wear like huge headphones on like on my first few stock streams.
Right side hill, or left side 3.
Dead hill, bro. Front door.
I'm gonna be front door.
Yo, front door.
Spiderweb says I'm gonna fall asleep tonight thinking about that wink.
Front door, you saw on the cliff.
And front door. I know, I had to be crazy.
No, you're good.
Back, got me, he stunned me. Set up next, There's like 3 there, there's 3 old.
That was nice though.
I was trying to contest, whatever.
One more boiler.
Or not.
Help us boiler.
Does somebody have ruler?
Alright. So I think that's good. I mean, I could play other stuff, but
No, they didn't. Oh,
I don't even think you could see it. It says low battery at the top.
I'm pushing out.
Dead and boiler.
Ayo, chill. Wait, did I say something in it?
Back spawn. Watch your back. Yeah, one in core, one in core.
Yeah, he's got
Thing is also, I don't know if I would have said anything because I uploaded this to YouTube in the first place. So,
I got 2 on hill.
like if I was recording, I probably didn't say anything crazy.
One more 8 down. B-dubs.
In core, bro, you can see me.
I just got smoked right there.
Watch out,
See what else I have.
Yo, boxes, why?
Yeah, we need. Alright, we should be fine.
Front door, bottom door. One's dirt. Spawn down. One down the bridge.
Top mid. Come in
Black.
sandbags, now, find out.
One shot, he's going upstairs, all the way inside. Yo, they're going both sides on P2. I mean,
Alright, whatever. Let's try this out. Alright, predictions. What am I gonna get? I don't know how we got here tonight, but we did. $32? No, I'm not getting 32. 57. I'm probably getting like 15. Oh my gosh, it's not easy to do on a Mac keyboard. Gotta like prepare. All right, I think I got this. There we go. I'm just like too scared to go all the way to the edge. No. All right, there we go. Really? I'm gonna give myself 20. 20's gonna be my guess. Alright, I'm starting to feel it now. There we go. Ooh. There we go. Oh. No, there's no way. All right. That's like the hardest one. I'm way better at this than I thought it would be. Wrong Steam, bro. Oh, I looked at the chat, I swear. Alright, we'll go one. Actually, I don't even think I have time. Yeah. Alright, probably gonna call it here. Cheddar Free says, used to play Snake, the original on your Nokia phone. Sonny says, wrong stream post is a gaming channel. Yeah, I got 35. Yeah, the guy was closest. Alright, we're gonna call it there. Thank you for watching the stream. Yeah, I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You'll see good luck trading in the market tomorrow, and peace out.